Let's see it. Ooh, I like that. I forgot what it's called. The Pegasus and the unicorn. Alicorn, that's right. Unicorn wallpaper. Ah, but these are all too cartoony. I want, like, realistic unicorn. Somebody spend your time in Photoshop getting me a fucking sick unicorn. Let's go. Unicorn space wallpaper. Yes. And Marie is feeling it. Volskaya. This could be Alexstrasza. Oh, look at this one. Wait, this might be it, though. This might be it. Unicorn. Pink to blue rainbow. Doves. Doves. Oh, shit. That's not a unicorn. That's a Pegasus. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's a Pegasus. But, like, oh, my God. I like how it came up under realistic unicorn when it's a fucking... That's a Pegasus. That's a Pegasus. You bitch. That's a Pegasus. But it's good. It's really good. That's like... That is what I was thinking. I want to wait on the Alexstrasza pick, though, because it's Alexstrasza, you know?
The wait is over. This realm needs
Those are good picks. Let's try this out. Let's see if this brings us great victory. Browse. Choose picture. Oh, it looks good. Oh, it looks so good. Oh my God. Chat, what do you think? What do you fucking think? This is my computer background right now. Yes. This is better than the whale because it was a larger image. So it just looks nicer. It's like less pixelated. Look at it. Oh my God. That one's a little softer, a little less like with the psychedelic vibe, but the colors are like exactly what I was thinking, right? The pink to the blue, right on it. It's got doves, which is great. Is that like a magic rune floating above the Pegasus's head? I don't know, but it's fucking dope. Dude, the unicorn impaling the dude in Cabin in the Woods was really funny. I know it's got the blur from the overlay. I'll switch it back in a second here. Let us get our team comp here. I'll lock in now. I'm ready. Let's go. Alexstrasza. And then we'll go like back to this and then let you see the full unicorn or Pegasus experience. Magical, right? Magical. I like how up that way they're doves, but this bird, because my head's in the way, but you can't see, it's like a weird magical hummingbird dove hybrid. It's some other weird kind of bird. It's awesome. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. Let's go. The last unicorn was irresponsibly tragic for the age bracket of people it was marketed to. Every little girl got traumatized by the last unicorn. Right? It's like a thing that happened to all of us because no one's parents knew going in how sad and traumatic it was. I have a desk mat on the desk mat that I use is the original Heroes of the Storm one that has the original Heroes of the Storm artwork with all of the release characters. So it's a good, what, like 5 years old, I think. Maybe a little older even, I don't know. 8-year-olds can handle them. Yeah, fucking no. If you're looking for some feels in, Marie, pop it in. It holds up for your tear ducts. But So I have this desk mat, and the one I'm thinking of replacing it with is one of those like rainbow pink nebula space ones. And I'm ready. Oh yeah, the Secret of Nim was another one that will fuck you up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slaughter them to the last.
Believe without reservation.
Horse in the quicksand. Yeah, no. And then people wonder why Disney sanitizes a lot of its stories and makes them more like palatable for small children. And it's like, bitch, did you have to watch The Secret of Nim as a child? Because if you did, you'd be happy to have shit like The Princess and the Frog, okay? I can, or do like Fox and Hound? Fox and Hound? Oh my god, so many tears were cried over Fox and Hound. Oh god. Just saying it. Poor Todd. Dude, All Dogs Go to Heaven has a nicer ending. But at the beginning, when Charlie goes to hell? Oh god. Hi, Juggernesty, how are you?
I am in agreement.
Dude, Fox and Hound cried so many times. He runs forever, right? Yeah, I'm trying not to be that. I'm trying to disconnect from that. It's tough. I don't want to see. I do not want to know. Right, we're talking about space whales, unicorns, Pegasus. The thin, blurred border between 8th grade girl aesthetic and acid trip stoner aesthetic, and how we can live in that space.
Designed our trigger protectors for combat in the Nexus. Prepare to begin field testing. Life begets life. Triglav terminal online. Take control of it to pilot the mech.
Being chased by a small girl and a robot.
Witness the strength of life.
Juggernesty, please.
Your service will be rewarded.
Are we gonna go there? Do we care? I kind of care. I care a little about the objective in the game. Like, I have an amount of care. Ha! Slap you with my wings. Alright. Dragon's over, but I do have Life Blossom now. We have a gun, so we should fight around the gun. Make them fight into the gun, right? The gun value. Small girl and robot. beating up our magic girl. And I think we lose the objective. Not the video game or anything, but like the objective for sure. Well, we don't have a chance to get back. That wasn't 100 for them. Just keep on keeping on, team. We're doing really well right now. His name's Bruce Leroy. That's a good name.
Three-glove protector operational. Assign a pilot and a gunner so you can test its weaponry.
Alright, we turned that around so well. Our re-engage there, enemy team is at like 80%, and we did so nice. I'm proud of us, team. The original Little Mermaid is better. I mean, I guess that depends on your definition of better. I've read it in German, and I don't know if I would play it for children, considering the Little Mermaid dies. Most of those fairy tales end so tragically that, I don't know. Dude, okay, so the prince doesn't fall in love with, yeah, he doesn't fall in love with her. He marries some other bitch. And so, also, she doesn't lose her voice in a magical shell. The sea witch cuts out her fucking tongue, right? Anyway, tongueless, she is unable to woo the prince, and he marries another bitch. So she goes back to the sea witch, and she's like, hey, sea witch, he married another bitch, so we're not gonna kiss or whatever. And the sea witch was like, that's cool, it's cool, new deal, new deal. If you kill her with this knife in her sleep, oh, then I'll continue the magical deal. I haven't read it in years, but it was like, did you fucking kill her? Here's a knife, fucking stab her, it's gonna be fine. And so the Little Mermaid goes to their bedroom. I don't remember how she gets in, but she does. And she goes to their bedroom, and she can't do it. She doesn't want the prince to be heartbroken because she sees that he's in love, and like she would have to kill, and she doesn't want to. So she doesn't fulfill that bargain either. She doesn't kill him. So on the dawn of the third day or whatever it is, she lays down in the water and turns into foam and dies. And that's it. She just dies. Yeah, so when I took German, we read a whole bunch of fairy tales, the original ones in German. It was supposed to help your brain learn the language. I don't think it worked because I don't remember any of it. But yeah, I read a whole bunch of fairy tales of their original form in German, and they were all traumatic. Fucking everybody dies. Dude, like Cinderella, so fucking savage. You know when the sisters are trying to put the glass slipper on their feet? Well, in the original one, they don't just try to cram their fat feet into the shoe. They literally, one cuts off her big toe, and the other fucking cuts off the heel of her foot to shove her foot into the shoe. And somehow nobody notices that the bitch cuts off her toe. Except, so then the prince is like, oh, the shoe fits, so I will marry you. And he puts the bitch on his horse, and they're riding to the castle. And then you know the singing birds and mice from the cartoon? Well, they're there, and they're like, look at that bitch's bloody foot. And then the prince looks, and her shoe is gushing blood from her missing toe. And he's like, oh, shit, no. And then the birds swoop down and peck out their eyes. Both the sisters' eyes get pecked out. Pecked out eyes. So then finally, the shoe fits on Cinderella because it's her foot and she doesn't have to cut off her toes or anything. And when she gets married, the sisters with their fucking cut off feet, no eyes are in the audience and have to watch her get married, but they've got no eyes, so they can't really watch. But you know what I mean? Just rub it in. Ah! Fucking Rapunzel was another one. Was it Rapunzel or Sleeping Beauty? I can't remember which it is. No, okay, Sleeping Beauty, instead of being a kiss while she's asleep, he does the sex upon her, the R word. It's not good. And then she gets pregnant and she doesn't wake up from any of that or the kiss. She has the babies while asleep and then is woke by the baby trying to nurse because I guess the baby came out and then crawled up her, I don't know, the science wasn't really explained of it, but she wakes up with twins and then she gets banished to the desert. I don't remember, wait, was it Sleeping Beauty or maybe it was Rapunzel who gets banished to the desert? Maybe Rapunzel because she lets the dude climb up her hair and then they do the sex and she gets banished to the desert and Snow White just got sexed and has babies. It's like, fuck. But they're all awful. What I'm trying to say here is they are all terrible. And you know what? I'm okay with Disney redoing them for children because children don't need any of that. I was like 17 and I feel like I didn't need to know any of that either, but I did. Yeah, I don't think the prince bothered with a lot of things, such as consent. You know, that was not high on the list of things to bother with, apparently. Like a kangaroo guy. Awful. He's really bad. It's really bad. Cinderella really stuck with me, though, with them cutting out the feet, cutting off the feet. And it was like, she's great. And then, yeah, it's Little Mermaid. That class was crazy too. I feel like our teacher was probably fucked up because we would read the story in this book of original stories in German and then we'd watch the Disney version in German and I don't feel like I learned anything other than just being like the whole time because of the juxtaposition of the tone when it was just like that's what I took away from that class. I remember like 4 words in German, but I remember all of that. So don't show that to children. Hi, Mockery. Thank you for the raid. Thank you. Welcome.
Destruction will not prevail.
It's the opposite of that. I'm bad, and you just left the GM plays. And so we were talking about movies that fuck you up as a child. Mockery won't remember any of them because he wasn't alive yet when these movies came out, but we were talking about like The Last Unicorn and The Secret of Nim and Fox and Hounds, and then we got on to other fairy tales and their original forms and how truly awful they are. I'm 23. You weren't alive for any of those movies, though. 23? Fucking Google it, okay? Hydrate. Okay, I can do that. I got that.
Almost ready. Access its terminal when I bring it online. As you wish,
There's this one, it's really short. It was like a picture book where, you know, they have the big pictures and they only have like one sentence of text that are for like little kids that are just learning how to read. And it was called Soup in Cup. That's what I remember it being called, Soup in Cup, right? And here's the story. There's a little boy and he sits down for dinner and they give him pea soup, which peas are fucking banging. I don't know what this little kid was on, but he didn't want to eat the pea soup, right? He didn't want it. And his mom or whatever, she don't even see her. She's off screen. She's like, you're not leaving that chair until you eat the soup. So it's just the little boy with the cup of soup. And then the next, there's a window behind him and you can see there's like trees outside. And then the next picture, like the leaves are turning orange. And then the next picture is snow. and he's still sitting there. And then the final picture is a tombstone with the soup cup on top of the tombstone. He died, and they put the soup cup tombstone, and he's dead, and that's it. That's how it ends. I don't know what life lessons you're supposed to take away from that book. I think the moral of the story was don't fucking argue with mom and you eat your fucking soup, or else.
Capture this mercenary camp.
This is a story for children. I'm just terrifying them into compliance. Do as you're told or you'll die. Because that's what most of the fairy tales were, right? Like with Cinderella, she only fell asleep. Not Cinderella. No, sorry, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty only falls into the sleep because she touched the fucking spinning wheel, right? The rule was, bitch, do not touch the spinning wheel. And then she did. She sees a spinning wheel and she's like, oh shit. And then she touches the spinning wheel, right? And she falls asleep. And then the dude does the R word in her sleep. And then she wakes up with babies. And it's like, fuck, if you just didn't touch the spinning wheel, nothing would have happened. And that's how that lesson apparently gets across. And then, like, the Little Mermaid, her father tells her, like, don't go to the surface. And she goes to the surface, then she sees the prince, and then she's like, I'm in love. And she goes to the sea witch, and then she dies and turns into foam, and she's just fucking dead. So, you don't want to be fucking dead. In the original one, yes, yeah, he does the full unfortunate situation while she's asleep, and she only wakes up. We were saying she's like a kangaroo because in the story she has the babies and then they somehow crawl up to her pubes and she wakes up from the nursing rather than... I don't know how they got up there. It's not explained or expanded upon. It just happens. She's asleep and he does the deed and then she's pregnant and then there's babies at her boobs. It just progresses from one to the other. Don't ask questions. And that's what wakes her up. Fuck. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure... No, they don't become the boobs. They're, you know, doing baby stuff or whatever. Rapunzel was the one, she lets the dude climb up her hair because he asks her 3 times, right? He's like, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so I may climb the golden stair. But in German, so it sounds much harsher. And she's like, no. And then the 3rd time, she's like, yeah, okay. And then, you know, they bang because obviously. And then she gets banished to the desert and dies. Because her mother, the witch, who's not really a witch, she's just her mother who locked her in her tower, comes back and she's like, oh shit! Did you guys fuck? And Rapunzel's like, eat. And they're like, to the desert with you! And she dies in the desert. Are these supposed to be terrifying? I think they actually are supposed to be terrifying. Yes. Because what better way to teach a lesson to a child than trauma? So much trauma. That's how you get your message across. Terrify them into compliance. That is Vita. Yeah, Vita is I only spam. Yeah. Dude, Hansel and Gretel has been retold many times, and we all know how it ends. But I just like the whole reason Hansel and Gretel were sent out into the forest in the first place is because their parents had too many children and couldn't feed them all. So they just picked 2 to die. And they're like, Hansel and Gretel. It's like a fucking episode of, like, The Bachelor. Like, you gotta go. You're out. No Rose. Go to the forest to die. They send them to the forest to die, to starve to death, eaten by wolves. They don't really care. It's just, we can't feed all the children. 2 have to go. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. It do be like that sometimes. Sometimes you've got 12 children and you can only feed 10. It's like the math problem, right? Right? Mr. and Mrs. Gretel have 5 servings of mashed potatoes and 7 children. Which child is going to get mashed potatoes? What about the other 2? What about Hansel and Gretel? Well, they're dead. We sent them to the forest to die.
Worthy of neither mercy nor interest.
And that's why the witch is able to bait Hansel and Gretel in, saying she'll feed them because they're starving, because their family didn't have enough food. Right? Right? It wasn't so much a don't talk to strangers situation as a we haven't eaten in days and our parents have selected us for death. Please feed us. You know, I don't remember what the actual moral was at the end of this story. I do feel like it was though Hansel and Gretel were bad kids and that's why they were the ones chosen to die. So if they had just not been bad kids, maybe their brothers Jimmy and Billy would have been sent to the forest to die instead. So if you just be better children, your parents won't yeet you into the woods. Right, because, you know, in the olden days, they would have so many kids so they could all work the farm and shit, but they didn't expect them all to live. They have so many because, you know, if you have 12, like, maybe, like, you know, like 4 of them are going to make it to adulthood. What do you do when all 12 live? No one planned for this. Send them to the woods. Send them to the woods to die. What do we do with all these excess children? Hansel's a piece of shit. Get him out of here. Now think about if you're not an only child, if you had siblings like I did, I had many. Think about which of your siblings would be sent to the forest to die. Would it have been you? Would you have been sent to the forest to die? I don't know, maybe. I call my mom right now. Mom, which one of us would you have sent to the forest to die? What?
Impress me, heroes. The protector is
I should be glad my parents stopped at 4. What if they only had enough food for 2?
Finish them already.
2 of you are still going to the forest. And my sister, for a fact, she a bitch. She going to the forest.
protector's weapons.
Get her out. GG, by the way. If you're an only child, I think you get to stay. Because they had to plan for at least one, right? Unless, what if you're the only child of Rapunzel who was sent to the desert to die? Because I'm pretty sure the baby got sent with her. Baby's fucked. Get out of here. To the desert. Premarital sex. Desert. Out of food. Forest. It's fucked up. That's why Disney was like, whoa, 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 whoa. All that has to go. All of it has to go. You mean they cut off their feet? All right, we keep the shoe, but the feet thing has to go. That's fucked up. The eyes, out. Throw it out.